Okay, I like to end the probability unit with something a little bit different than your traditional test. So we're gonna make games. Here is the outline of the game project that you will be doing, and here's the rubric that's attached. And then I'll walk you through an example of what my game would look like. So I explain what we're doing here to better use all of the various probabilities that we've had. You're gonna put all that knowledge together and try your best to make a unfair game. You're trying to rake the system, but you're doing it using math, so you're learning. Ah, look at that. This is how, by the way, how carnival games work at if you go to the fair or something, and why you can't win the ring toss no matter how many times you try. It doesn't matter how much money I pump into it. I'm never gonna get the stupid little ring on top of the 2-liter bottle, and I'm not gonna get that stuffed lion. It looks really cool, but I'm out $80. I could buy a bunch of stuffed lions. Whatever, I'm not bitter about it. Anyway, so you and a group will create an original game based on all of the things that you've learned. And then we're gonna, over the course of the week, brainstorm it, put it together, and then at the end of the week, you will present your games, and you get a chance to go around and play each other's games. And the most, I guess, rigged or unfair game kind of wins. But don't like overtly cheat about it, okay? Try to be like, use mathematical to cheat them. Don't be like, I'm gonna eat your cards as you play them, and haha, you lose. So here's the breakdown. You will need to make the goal of your game. Describe your game. What is it? How you play it? How do people win it? The game rules, okay? You need to have understandable rules. They need to be clear, and they need to be relatively quick to read. Hopefully they shouldn't be long. Like if you think about the ring toss example, go up, grab a ring, throw it, try to get it on a 2-liter bottle. Okay, that's a pretty quick game. You can pick that up and play it. If your rule sheet is the size of a manual for a tractor, you failed. Okay, keep the rules relatively clean. Materials needed. If your game is a piece that needs die or coins to flip or spinners, you probably need to provide that yourself. I can lend out specific things. I have some things in here, and you can ask whoever is in the room if I'm not here during this time to help you locate some stuff. Like if you need a bunch of die, we can hook you up with that. If you need a deck of cards, we have you. But if you want something above and beyond, you gotta bring that yourself. You need a sign for your game. Every game needs to be fun and inviting. You don't want to walk up to a dirty old carny stand with no sign and see a dude like smoking cigarettes behind the counter saying, "You want to play?" No, I don't, Jimbo. I don't want to play your game. And lastly, and potentially most importantly, you need an essay. Now, don't freak out about the essay. I'm talking a page or less. Basically breaking down what your game is, why you decided to build the game you did, how you play it, what you expect to happen with your game, like how you intend to win, and overall how successful you'll be. And then lastly, describe, is your game fair or unfair? Well, it shouldn't be fair, I'll tell you that much. You're trying to cheat the system here. So explain how your game is unfair. Okay, so here is my project. I called it duck hunting. So, how you win it, select a duck who's higher value than the first duck. The rules, this only costs 1 ticket. By the way, you will all be given tickets to play with, and that's how you'll be betting. It'll cost, like, go up to a game, and they might be like, okay, it's 2 tickets to play. You can give them 2 of your tickets, and then you have a chance to, I don't know, to maybe make 5 tickets back if you win. Okay, and then hopefully you walk away with those 5 tickets that you could keep and trade in for prizes. So, the rules. 1 ticket to play. Pick 1 rubber duck from the pond and look at the ticket value written on the bottom. Show it to the person running the game. You earn the number of tickets on the bottom of the duck. Don't put the duck back. Pick a 2nd rubber duck and look at the ticket. Show it to the manager. And then 2 things can happen. You win if the 2nd value is higher than the 1st. Congrats. You earn the number of tickets on the 2nd duck as well. If you want to keep going, you could pick another duck if you like. Or you could just take your winnings and leave. However, you lose the number of tickets on the 2nd duck, guaranteed. So if you don't win, you may play again by starting completely over. So the 2nd duck needs to be bigger than the 1st duck. And so the materials I needed for this game was 10 little rubber duckies and a little pond of water. I think I used just a normal lid of some kind. I put some water in it and had floating ducks. Kind of drew it. Blah, blah, blah. I needed the pond, I needed the sheet with the rules, I needed tickets. Those will be provided to you. So in this example down here, let's see, the black circles represent one duck, the pawn shows up. Yeah, so here's my setup. I had a bunch of ones. I had a 5, and I had a 10. So chances are, if you picked one of these, you had really good odds to get 1. Okay, and then you would win 1 ticket. Cool. You'd have to pick a second one, and chances are you would probably get another 1, which would mean you lose, and I get to take that ticket. Okay, so you got nothing. It costs 2 to play, so the person would come to my game and they'd pay me 2 tickets right off the bat. They would pull their first duck, and most of the time they'd get a 1. Cool. I'd give them 1 of their tickets back. But then, when they pull the second one, and I expect another 1 to happen, they would hand that ticket right back to me. So I would profit 2 times more often than not. Now, there's a chance that they would pull the 5 or the 10 first try. Get very lucky. They'd have to be very lucky to do that. I'd have to give them 5 tickets or 10 tickets. But then they would lose if the second. They were guaranteed to lose if they pulled the 10 first, because there's no number that's higher than 10. They'd give me all those tickets back. But there is a small chance that someone pulls a 1 and then pulls a 10, and congratulations, I'm poor now because I had to pay out 11 tickets that game. But most of the time, that didn't happen. Here was my breakdown. I created this game cheap and simple so it would be entertaining. I also made it seem that it was easy to win. It was a very understandable game. And then I broke down, right? The ducks were not evenly distributed. I had way more 1s than I had. And your chances get better for me when you pull it out. So the probability of them getting a 5 or a 10 in the first try, in the second try, was only 2 out of 9. Because originally there were 10 ducks, right? And I took 1 out. That was their winner. They didn't put it back. Now there's only 9 left in my pool, and only 2 of those 9 let them win. So 22% of the time they would win, but that means close to 78% of the time I would win. And I went a little bit more into how the math works, right? The probability of getting a 1, they had 8 out of 10, which was 80% chance that they pulled a 1. And then if they kept going, here's the variance. Now, this was a really nice breakdown, and I'll make sure this gets applied to you as well. This will get attached to your rubric that you will get. So you can have a chance to better read this and look at this. I don't expect your breakdown to be necessarily as detailed as this, but this is an example of what will give you 100%. If it's at this level, you've aced this thing. Okay. And then the probability worked out to the max payout. If they got a 1, then a 5, and then a 10. Because remember that in my game, they could have kept going if they wanted to, if they wanted to push their luck. There was only a 1 out of 90 chance that someone was walking away with 16 tickets. More often than not, I was banking tickets, left, right, and center. So really, there was only like a 1% chance that they would do that. But, right, if I profit at least for 99 rounds, which I most likely would, then this game would be profitable for me. Chances are, this was rigged in my favor. So it was a relatively easy game to understand, right? The ducks. Like, that's a pretty simple game. But underneath the mathematics behind it was not fair. And I was making bank that day. Okay? Alright, that's how it works. We're not doing the feedback sheet. Not doing that this year. But that's how it goes. Okay. So you will have a full week to do this project. I advise highly that you do it in groups, but if you want to do this solo style, you can. Just make sure that your groups are working all evenly together, and everyone needs their own essay. You can't have a group essay. Everyone needs to have their own. You can work together on the rules, you can work together on the sign, you can work together to build and construct your game and think about it. Absolutely do that. But everyone needs to turn their own essay in. And again, that's just like 1 page. Okay, all right, have fun. I'm excited to see what you guys make.